that every congressman gets about 70 million a year. Senators naman, they get 200 million a year. Itong tinatawag na pork barrel, which is allocated to every congressman and every senator, dapat dalhin ito sa kanilang projects, na-specify yung mga projects na yan, others, my education, and all that. Ngayon, ang sistema ito is, the congressman or the senator does not take hold of the money. Sila ang mag-choose ng projects nila. So the moment may project yung senator or your congressman, sasabihin niya na ito ang projects namin, meron implementing agency. Okay? Itong implementing agency na yan, yun ngayon ang I think yun ang tatanggap ng pera from the DBM. Pinirelease ng DBM, Department of Budget and Management, binibigay nila ngayon dito sa implementing agency. Now, it's the implementing agency. It's self-explanatory. It implements the projects and therefore should farm out whatever amount should go to this project. Allegedly, yung some mayors or some intended beneficiaries were asked to write the congressman or the senator to fund this particular project. Okay? Inapruban naman daw ng senator and therefore there was this directive kuno to the implementing agencies, as are usually organizations. So it turned out as it surfaced from the whistleblower na ito palang pera na intended for projects, it ended in the implementing agents or agency. Then allegedly, itong implementing agency, either they are fake or sa dami nila fake or essentially the same incorporators or members or proprietors or whatever. The money ends with them and so much percent daw, ranging from 40 to 70%, goes to the senator or to the congressman, and the rest itatago na ngayon ng implementor. Ganun daw ang sistema nila. So, there were some mayors who were, not necessarily mayors, maybe local government officials, who were asked to sign requests. Nag-request sila na please fund this plan, that sila naman pirma ng pirma. But it would appear from their records, from the records of the implementing agency na nga binigyan daw nila yung ganito ganyan, but all majority of these intended beneficiaries deny having ever received money from the implementers, or kung hindi man sila nag-deny na sila ang humingi, sasabihin nila na hindi namin pirma yan, they just forced it. Yun ang sistema ng pork barrel. Okay? So, there is a procedure for this. Kailangan may fact-finding na tinatawag. Yung agency like the NBI, nagpa-fact-finding sila. On the part of the Ombudsman is conducting a parallel investigation. That is the mandate of the Ombudsman. Whether there's a complainant or not, the Ombudsman can initiate an investigation. The trouble is that si Louie, sa NBI siya unang nagsalita. So, nung pumunta ang mga investigators ng Office of the Ombudsman kay Louie, ayaw na niya magbigay ng sworn statement because sabi daw niya, kung magbigay ako ng sworn statement, pareho rin yung binigay ko sa NBI. And so, we requested the NBI to furnish us copy of the sworn statement. Sabi naman ng NBI, even if it's more than a month na ayaw nilang magbigay kasi hindi pa na natapos, you know, they keep trying to revise the sworn statement of Louie because si Louie daw every now and then may dinadagdag or may modify na statement. And so what we did was, we issued a subpoena for Lloyd to appear in the office, what's today, Sunday, Tuesday, and we also directed the head of the NBI to appear before the office of the Ombudsman for clarificatory interview. Kasi, the reason why we are conducting a parallel investigation is, yung report ng NBI, your findings nila, yung recommendation will come to the Ombudsman. And it's going to be the Ombudsman who will ultimately determine whether the fact-finding investigation and the recommendation of the Ombudsman suffices for the Ombudsman to conduct yung preliminary investigation. Because fact-finding muna, pag preliminary investigation, this will be the time that we will direct whoever will appear to be liable to come up with a counter affidavit. Okay? So, it is not easy to just file a case in court. Kailangan na may fact-finding, the fact-finding is over, we conduct a preliminary investigation, because if we don't conduct a preliminary investigation, the prospective respondents will say, denial of due process. In other words, they were denied the right to be heard.
Kalimitan po ng mga nasasangkot ay mga senador, congressman. Kung sakali po ito ay magkakaroon ng paglilitis, ang mga congressman po ba ng sangkot dito, ang mga congressman, sila po ba ay suspended? At kung sakali mapatunayan na sila ay kasangkot, sila po ba ay mapaparusahan?
The Ombudsman does not suspend any respondent in a criminal case. It is the Sandigan Bayan which suspends. Now, as far as administrative cases are concerned, the Ombudsman can suspend, but the Ombudsman does not have disciplinary or administrative jurisdiction over members of Congress, among other officials. So, as far as the Ombudsman is concerned, it is out of the question. I cannot consider suspending itong mga congressman members. It will be the court, the Sandigan Bayan, which will consider suspending them.
May tanong po dito regarding sa usapang scams. Sa mga nakalipas na usapang scam, gaya ng fertilizer scam, sa tingin niyo po ba may patutunguhan din po itong kasong ito?
Sa tingin ko may patutunguhan. Well, we believe that the evidence of the Office of the Ombudsman is very strong. It's probably just a matter of time. Because wala kaming control sa proceedings. The moment the proceedings go to court, nasa justices na yan ng Sandigan Bayan.
Nagkaroon po ng tinatawag ng Million March. Isa sa mga ay si Pangulong Aquino nagbigay ng 10 million award kay Napoles. Sa kayo pa siya ay mahuli. At ang tanong, bakit kay Pangulo si Napoles sumuko? Bakit sumuko kay Pinoy?
Okay. It was Napoles who decided to surrender to the president. According to her, he is the only person whom she can trust. Wala na tayo dun. We cannot question the wisdom of her decision.
May question po tayo regarding FOI. Naniniwala po kami na napakahalaga ng FOI, freedom of information, lalo na para sa mga Pilipinong nasa abroad, gaya namin, na isa sa mga stakeholders. Kung maisa sa batas po yung FOI, ano po magiging papel nito sa mga kasong may kinalaman sa corruption na iniimbestigahan ng Ombudsman?
It will make it easier for the investigation agencies to conduct fact-finding investigation kasi may FOI na. As it is now, wala pa tayong FOI, so medyo nahihirapan tayo kasi wala transparency. We'll have difficulty sourcing documents, which could be documentary evidence to base our findings of probable cause.
Nababalita ng sasakit-sakitan ngayon si Napoles. Paano makakasigurado ang Ombudsman na siya ay mananagot sa kanyang mga kasalanan? Paano mananagot? Masisigurado ng Ombudsman na siya ay mananagot sa kanyang mga kasalanan. Kasi po karamihan ng mga opisyal kapag sila ay nakahatulan, sila po ay lagi nagpupunta sa hospital at ito tinatawagin natin na sila pa ay may karamdaman.
Alam ninyo, ang naririnig ko lang kay Napoles is hearsay, nababalitaan ko lang sa dyaryo. And that's the reason why gusto sana namin malaman kung anong pinagsasabi ni Loy and the rest of the whistleblowers. But we're hampered because ayaw nga magbigay ng NBI. And as I said earlier, the reason why, I said earlier so that we will not be forever clipped in our power to investigate sino pinahan na namin. As far as ang knowledge ko about Napoles is concerned, hearsay pa lang yun, nasa dyaryo.
Ito po ay connected din sa FOI kanina. Nasa ang stage na po ba tayo or level na po ang gobyerno sa pag-create ng transparency ukol sa mga fund allocations?
Fund allocations? Well, that's very general. Fund allocations.
For barrel.
Pork barrel? What do you mean nasa stage na tayo ngayon? What do you mean nanong stage? The President said, abolish daw ang pork barrel. Although, some critics say, paano i-abolish? Nandyan daw sa 2014 budget. So, I don't know. I'm not privy to the policy or decision of the President respecting this. In fact, I was abroad when the President announced that the PDI would be abolished.
The next question po ay, ano ang difference ng legislator, executive, and judiciary? Bakit ginagawa ng legislators ang ginagawa ng executives tulad ng pagbibigay ng proyekto sa kanilang lugar? So what's the difference? Kasi po parang nag-overlapping ang mga trabaho.
Well, the legislator have their own budgets. Okay, may budget rin ang executive, may budget rin ang judiciary. Hindi naman pwede wala silang budget. They have their own budgets, separate budgets.
Bali, this is a question from one of the communities na napuntahan po hapon. So, ang sentiments ng nagtanong sa akin, bakit walang napaparusahan sa mga investigasyon? Halimbawa, I will drop the cases of Chok Bolantes, the PART1s. Sabi nila, puro pa simula lang. At paano kung ang mga matataas na nasa gobyerno, sila pa rin ay hahatulan as justice is fair to all.
Let's address that to the courts. Ang korte ang nagbibista sa mga kaso nila. So, I understand the ADB, was it ADB or World Bank, who conducted a study of how long it takes the Sandigan Bayan to try a case and come up with a decision or not. About 5 to 6 years, that is the number of years that it takes the Sandigan Bayan Dao to wind up in the trial and decision of the case.
My question po tayo regarding judiciary. Sabi dito, the pork barrel corruption is true not only to the legislative branch of our government but also in the executive branch. What are the precautions that the judiciary branch is not having the same problem regarding the corruption?
Precautions that the judiciary should take respecting what?
Na hindi po mangyayari yung same corruption
Sa judiciary? Okay, the Supreme Court has control and supervision over lower courts. So, I came from the Supreme Court, but I am not the Supreme Court, and neither is the Chief Justice. It's the court and bank which decides policies, which enforces its control and supervision over courts and members of the courts. So, I do not have their mind. I cannot answer that.
Po kanina yung tungkol sa fact-finding committee. So, sino po ang magiging, ano po ang composition o sino at ito ang tatayo sa
I already constituted a panel of investigators, but because we have this interagency anti-corruption council, it's going to be a composite force from among all the members of this interagency anti-corruption council. We're going to validate whatever actions we are going to take on Friday Friday next week, when we are going to meet.
This is quite personal, ma'am. Kung kayo po ang tatanungin, paano may babalik ang tiwala ng taong bayan sa pamahalaang Pilipinas o sa mga namumuno sa ating gobyerno?
I am not going to answer that because that presumes that mas magaling pa ako sa kung sino man.
Okay, corruption has been an issue in almost administration. What is past and present? What is the way ahead of Ombudsman to address corruption? Ano po ang gagawin ninyo bilang sa
My only mandate is to curb corruption, to punish or to file cases against those we find to be corrupt. And precisely, I am here now in Korea to speak about corruption prevention. So, our current centerpiece now is corruption prevention, and I am going to speak before the Anti-Corruption Forum, which will start tomorrow, but it's going to be on Tuesday, that I'm going to present the plans and activities of the Philippines.
The question is quite strong. No? Ano po ang sunod na hakbangin ng Office of the Ombudsman pagkatapos ng pagsuko ni Napoles? Alaman natin na mas makapangyarihan ang mga tao na sa likod nito. Paano sila matutugis?
You are suggesting that there could be pressure on the part of high government officials to the Ombudsman? I have said before, and I'm going to say it now, no one can pressure me. In fact, I owe my position to the fact that I do not have a history of being pressured. I do not have a history of considering extra legal factors when I decide cases. So, rest assured that no one can ever pressure me. To the credit of the President, he has not dropped any intimation of pressure on his part to me. So, let us give credit to the President.
May question po tayo sa ito. Hindi po ba ang lahat ng project proposal ay dumadaan sa Congress bago ang approval? Paano po ang nangyayari na konting tao lang po ang naging sangkot? Hindi po ba lahat ng legislative department ay pwedeng tanungin dito sa project kung saan ginagamit ang fourth paragraph?
Yung concerned legislator lang ang dinadaanan ng project, yung proposal. In fact, it is the concerned legislator who will approve the project that he will fund out of his PDAP.
Ang fourth barrel scam po ay nakatutok sa 2007-2009 budget. Tingin niyo po ba ay may malaki pa sila makikita kung sakaling succeeding years ay kanilang bubukuratin? At ano ang trabaho ng COA upang sa ganun makita yung tinatawag natin transparency sa paghahatlag ng mga nangyayaring ito sa scam?
Respecting your first question, I am not a clairvoyant. So I cannot say if there's going to be more serious discovery of fraud. Respecting the COA is trying its best to really audit. Sa dami naman ng ino-audit nila, talagang it would take years before they can come up with final results that are validated.
Ito naman po ay may connection sa simbahan at sa gobyerno.
Separation of the church and state.
I think with the call of government transparency, magkaroon din sana ng transparency ang church.
Tama.
Dahil pwede silang gamitin ng politicians to hide their wealth. What is your opinion about this?
Well, from what we gather from reports in the newspapers, di ba yung mga church daw ay beneficiaries ni Napoles? Excuse me, I don't know if it's true. They are also beneficiaries of the Philippine Charities.